Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the opportunity, and I thank all of the testifiers for being here today. It's been very, very interesting, and I just have a couple of questions for the Secretary. I've heard a couple of the testifiers mention, passing on the farm and several generations worth of farming. And Mr. Secretary, the Biden administration has been talking about potentially making some changes to the calculation of the stepped up basis. And I'm wondering if you could maybe comment on that, on how that might affect some of these folks that are trying to pass on farms, particularly in the socially disadvantaged communities.
Congresswoman, I have not had an opportunity to visit with anyone in the Biden administration on the issue of stepped up basis. I do know that it is an important aspect of the countryside where people who pass away, the appreciation of their farmland is essentially not taxed, not subject to income tax, and it provides an opportunity for transfer to the next generation. I'm happy to look into that issue and find out more about it, but I'm sorry to say I'm not prepared to respond to that question today. I didn't anticipate that one.
Well, and Mr. Secretary, I appreciate that. Like I said, as we were talking, as some of the testifiers were talking a little bit about those generational farms, and so I just thought that might be something that would be of concern. But Mr. Secretary, just one other thing. Congressman Bishop was talking a little bit about some of the outreach, and I was just kind of wondering if maybe you could expand a little bit on some of that and what kind of outreach is being done on some of the existing programs to make sure, in particular, that younger generation of farmers, but with an emphasis on those groups in the socially disadvantaged communities.
Well, obviously, COVID has made somewhat of a different situation over the last year, but historically, I think that these folks, the panelists, have basically put their finger on the real problem here, which is that it's very, very hard for farmers to initiate the conversation that leads to providing the technical assistance and outreach if you don't trust the people that you are asking for help. And that is the fundamental issue here, one of the fundamental issues. We have got to restore trust out in the countryside. And frankly, we can't do that, in my estimation. We can't do that by walking in or walking on the farm and saying, as we say, "Hi, I'm here from the government, I'm here to help you." We have got to walk on the farm with someone who they trust, a community building organization, a land grant university, extension, whatever it might be, and basically say, we are here to listen. We're here to learn how we can help you. And then there has to be a commitment to make it a successful relationship and transaction. It can't be just we listen and then we give you 15 reasons why it won't happen. We've got to figure out ways in which we take care of each one of those reasons and ultimately get to success so that people recognize that there is a reason for the federal government, there is a reason for the Department of Agriculture, that we are there to help, and it creates the relationship that ultimately leads to further opportunities. So I think it starts fundamentally with building trust, and I think that starts with making sure that we're not alone when we go providing assistance and help, and that we listen, that we respect the folks. We respect and acknowledge the reason why they are distrustful. It's absolutely rational, what we're dealing with here.
And Mr. Secretary, I appreciate that. And I just, because we have existing programs, we just have to make sure that there are programs within the USDA, and that I just want to make sure that we're making sure that people are aware of those. And I appreciate the issue of the trust, and that you will be reaching out in that way with a trusted individual with you, or however you determine that's going to be working. But I thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity, and I yield back my whole 45 seconds.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.